Emergence Church really started as just a testimony of God's faithfulness. And I remember walking through the woods and reading Paul's word in 1 Corinthians as he's talking about his own ministry. And he said, when I came to you, it basically is saying I came in weakness and trembling, full of anxiety, and I made the gospel known to you, and God moved in power. And I remember thinking, if God's going to move in power in this church, it's going to be all about the gospel, all about the scriptures. And I said, okay, God, I'm going to teach the gospel, and if the church grows, I'll just know you did it. By the grace of God, we are once again at capacity in our Totowa location. Our Ringwood location is experiencing record numbers. Our children's ministry is above capacity. Our student ministries are the healthiest they've ever been. We own our facility. We once again are seeing lines down the hall at our Easter services. And once again, we're at a place where we're saying we're still in the most densely packed state in the United States that's the least reach for the gospel, and we can't just put out the no vacancy sign. We believe that puts us in this incredible season together as a church where God has positioned some things for us that we couldn't position on our own. We have the growth happening in our church as well as the building purchase, where now we believe it's our time to take a step of faith. You know, one of the things the gospel does in us is it compels us to generosity. In the gospel, we see that God went first. God gave his first and best. And so as Christians, when we ask the question, what's it look like to put him first? It causes us to respond in generosity, to respond in faith. And I believe over the next 2 years, that's the season where God's calling us to follow him and trust him, as has happened throughout the history of this church, as well as throughout the scriptures. And so I'm excited to share with you where we're headed over the next 2 years together as a church. We are about to enter into a 2-year-long discipleship and generosity journey that we're calling first, greater than all things. One of my favorite verses in the New Testament, and the verse that's really been just encouraging me as we walk towards this initiative, is when Paul writes to the Philippian church that he considers all things lost compared to the greatness of knowing Christ Jesus as Lord. And I love that, because Paul's saying when Jesus is first, when he's greater than everything else, he says it just makes everything else, even good things, look like loss compared to going after him. It's just amazing to look at where we are right now. It just feels like at every step along the way as a church, we, by the grace of God, get to see the room fill up and people come to Christ. And every time we think, wow, we're full, we just say we can't put out the no vacancy. There's still too many people that don't know Jesus. And every time the people respond in faith, God moves again. And it just feels like we're here again, and we're going to ask the question, what does it look like in your life to say, okay, God, more than anything else I could accomplish over the next 2 years of my life, what I really want to accomplish is to put you first. I want to affect my faith and my discipleship and my generosity. I want to look different 2 years from now. This is all about Jesus. This is all about the glory of God, that no one's interested in making Emergence Church look great, but I get excited about making Jesus look great. And so I just want to ask us to pray boldly. God, give me courage to trust you. I know you're faithful. I want to see you move. And then together, let's trust the God who can do more than all we could ask or imagine. Let's say, God, we want you to be first.